Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Russian state TV has launched a fierce attack on Yevgeny Prigozhin, the leader of an aborted armed mercenary mutiny last month. In the programme 60 Minutes, footage was shown that had purportedly been shot during law enforcement raids on Prigozhin's St. Petersburg office and one of his so-called palaces. Meanwhile, Belarus leader Alexander Lukashenko says Yevgeny Prigozhin is in his native town of St. Petersburg. His whereabouts had been a mystery since he was seen in southern Russia during the mutiny. A Russian missile strike has killed at least 4 people in Lviv in the biggest attack on the western Ukrainian city's civilian infrastructure since Russia's invasion. Footage shows residents comforting their crying neighbours, while others helped rescuers to sweep the shattered glass. The Interior Ministry put the death toll at 4 and said 34 people had been wounded, including a child. Rescuers are continuing to work at the scene. The emergency services said they had managed to rescue 7 people from the rubble and evacuated 64 others. Ukraine's Air Force said Russia had attacked Lviv with Kalib missiles launched from the Black Sea. It said 7 of the 10 missiles had been shot down. A suspected nitrate oxide gas leak in South Africa has led to the deaths of 16 people. The victims, including women and children, died from gas inhalation at an informal settlement in Boksburg, east of Johannesburg. The leak has been linked to illegal gold mining in the area. Emergency service officials fear more bodies could be found overnight as search and rescue teams continue their work. A child has died after a car crashed into a primary school building in Wimbledon in London. 6 other children and 2 adults were injured when a gold-coloured Land Rover crashed into the study preparation school. The driver, a woman in her 40s, has been arrested on suspicion of causing death by dangerous driving. Several people were treated at the scene by paramedics, and an air ambulance was called in.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
Residents have buried a Tunisian man who was killed during clashes with sub-Saharan African migrants in the southern city of Sfax. Tunisia's economic capital has seen violent clashes between residents and migrants for the last few weeks. Residents complained of disorderly behaviour by migrants, while migrants complained of racial harassment.
Allumage 2 et décollage.
Europe's Ariane 5 rocket has blasted off from French Guiana for the final time, carrying 2 militant communications satellites and leaving its nations with a vacuum in autonomous access to space for the first time in more than 4 decades.
Propulsion nominale.
It is the 117th and final mission of the 53-metre tall 3-stage launcher, which deployed 2 satellites. The first test launch of Ariane 6 is expected at the end of the year, depending on tests to be carried out in the summer. And Mark Zuckerberg says 10 million users have signed up for Meta's newly launched Threads app in its first 7 hours. He pitched the app as a friendly rival to Twitter, which was bought by Elon Musk in October. Experts say Threads could attract Twitter users unhappy with recent changes to the platform. Threads allows users to post up to 500 characters and has many features similar to Twitter. Earlier, Mr. Zuckerberg said keeping the platform friendly will ultimately be the key to its success.
I'd say it is very much following on from the previous few weeks of let's meet in a cage and fight. An early blow has been brought in from Meta to, can we call it the Musk empire, whereas Twitter is confused, it's down, users don't know what's happening, what the status is, how do they relate to Twitter anymore. Twitter has been thrown open, then restricted, thrown open, restricted. So people are confused about where do they stand with this product and how do they use it. So very much an opportune time to step in and say, here's the alternative.
And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.